Welcome to Black Love Matters, where this serves as a therapy session for figuring out adulthood,
loving each other.
I find Iron and Brack Michelle.
Or Jay-Z and Beyonce. Who is you?
I'm Neil.
And I'm Nyambi.
And this is episode 381, y'all. Happy Monday.
We're at Monday again. It just keep going.
It's the lunch break. It's the lunch break for the week.
I be enjoying my little piece of weekends.
Me
so
too.
Much.
Be sure to leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and on Stitcher, and follow us on all forms of social media at Black Love Matters. That's Black.
With no K.
With no K. What's going on?
Child, I don't have this lunch break. Like I said, went by so quickly. I actually don't have that much to share with y'all. Of course, we're going to talk about Coming to America too, but we're going to save that for Kitchen Table Talk. Correct, Niram?
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say, Niram introduced me to the card game phase 10. Now, for long-time listeners, y'all know I'm not the one that likes board games and or card games because I win at life. And my family and the friends I hang around with, they tend to get a little bit too competitive for me. So I traditionally like to fall back. I like to say things like, I'll keep score. I'll make a snack. I'll take a nap. I'll watch this movie. I'll count the ceiling tiles. Anything but play games with you niggas. But something Niram kept doing, like in his downtime, because y'all know sometimes Niram can't sleep. He'll play on his phone, or just when he's trying to disconnect, he'll always be on his phone playing a card game. And I thought he was doing solitaire. And I was like, how much solitaire you going to play, Niram? He was like, oh, I'm playing phase 10. And I was like, do we play phase 10? Is that a part of our culture and heritage? Mm-hmm. And then Niram explained to me like what it was. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Like, you're playing against each other, but you kind of you get to focus on yourself too, because you need to get out. Like, of course you got to pay attention to what other people are doing, but it's like your own little mini game in between. And he taught me how to play it online. I was like, you know what, nigga, let's play this shit in person. And we took ourselves on down to the Target and got us a phase 10 card game. And must I say, I truly enjoyed myself. I mean, it was just me and Niram. I'm thinking it'll be a little bit more difficult with more people, but just is it the routine of it, or like all right, now now you're aiming for this. Think about that.
And I was different phases you be into it.
And I was like, oh, I kind of like this one. I think that's definitely going to make it into the carry-on. And I will be playing that once we're in Michigan too. It just brought me a little joy. And for y'all who don't know, like I'm not a big card game person. Like, I don't really play spades. Like, I know how to play spades, but I'm not good at it. I don't understand the strategy behind spades. And were you surprised I was like interested into it, Niram?
Yes, because usually that ain't your ministry.
What?
It ain't. It's not your ministry. So
I'm more of a taboo.
You are.
Type of girl than a actual card game, but it was really nice. It was nice playing with it. Niram got mad at me because I told him he couldn't shuffle, and I added I was gonna do a automatic with batteries, but I was like, nope, you're gonna need the card games when ain't no batteries around. So I got me a manual crank shift card shuffler on the way.
Why?
Because I was playing with Niram, and you know how you shuffle the cards and you go, and Niram was on the one we had to do like a run to like 8 and 9. And he like literally just got it after one hand. I was like, oh, nigga, you either cheating or you're not shuffling these cards.
Well, when you get a fresh deck of cards.
I don't want to challenge your integrity, but I'm just, it's not logical for you to have a run of 9 on your first hand.
Naomi called me cheating.
I ain't say you was cheating. I just said you're not the best shuffler. And what we're going to do to handle that, we're going to bring in technology.
So you're going to get a hand crank shuffle.
We got a hand crank shuffler that I can't decide if I'm going to sit in here or wait till we get to Michigan. Because I was like, oh, because they got the cute automated ones. And I was like, no, let me get that hand crank. So just in case we got to play by candlelight. I think this is going to be my new thing. I ain't playing cards with nobody unless I got a crank shuffler. Look, it's like, wah, wah, wah. I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be good. So I did that. That was exciting. Next, something that brought me a lot of joy was, y'all know Pose is coming back for the 3rd season in May. I think May 2nd is this day is going to debut. But as soon as I got happy, they took my joy. This is the last season. This is the last and final season. And here come Brother Murphy talking about, we've told the story we want to told. It's beautiful. Get ready. And I'm just like, I thought we had at least 2, 3. I thought we at least had a 5-season run in us. And we gonna cut it at 3?
Yeah.
Ain't it stories to be told?
It is a lot of stories to be told.
And Ryan Murphy, since we ending this year, I'm gonna need the last episode to flash me forward all the way to the pandemic. So do what you gotta do to get me there. But that's what I'm gonna need.
Like in the 80s?
Yeah. So I don't know how you're gonna do it. I don't know. He's going to connect it all together. I need him to do like 6 Feet Under, the season finale, where it literally went to every single main character died.
Oh my
Like,
God.
that's how 6 Feet Under is one of the best shows like that has ever been on television. The way that is literally a complete circle. You've seen the complete circle of an entire family from birth to death. What else more could you want? It's brilliant. So I was lit about that. And then the last thing is, y'all gonna hear it. We're gonna be a broken worker for the next couple of weeks, y'all. We moving and we packing and we getting in that last 2 to 3 week sprint where it's like, oh, this shit getting real. And we got to really make a decision to get to moving. Grateful, but we only been here a year and some change. But whenever you stay at something, shit be hiding in crevices and everything else. And it's just like, Lord have mercy, what we gonna do with this?
Yes.
And then also just the shift to moving back to Michigan. Michigan's a different energy. I'm hoping by the time we get there, it won't be no more snow. I know y'all still going back and forth. One day is 60, the other day is 20. Lord, I'm going to need you to stay above 45 degrees for me. So I don't want to make it there through one of the, you know how they have those little strange spring snowstorms?
Yeah.
Not interested in that at all.
Fake spring.
So I need it to be.
As the folks call it.
I need it to be 50 degrees and just rain. Like, that's the only hiccups I need to see. Anything else, I'm all set and not interested in at all. And Neil, what's going on with you?
Yeah, so, I started my moving stuff because, I think I work a lot more longer hours than Nyambi. So I was like, I need to get started on this shit today. So I went ahead, cleared out the closet. I did the first pass of the closet and my shoes. Ooh, I done gave away 6 garbage bags to the Goodwill. 4 of those garbage bags were shoes.
How was it when you dropped it off, honey? How's it out here in Silicon Valley? Which one you go to?
The one
out by us?
Yeah, the one out by us. Relatively easy. The only messed up thing is like they don't leave it in the garbage bag, so you got to sort it yourself.
Oh, how did that go?
It's easy. They got like these different crates that you put stuff in. So you got like adult clothes, kid clothes, and then like shoes. So you just got to dump it off the garbage bag.
Did they got anything for like boots or anything else or other stuff?
Yeah, they got like houseware.
Okay.
And like other accessories and things of that sort.
I wonder how long it takes to go through that stuff. Where people even do. So for shoes, did you have to like rubber band them together or something?
No.
Oh my God.
You just dump them in the crate.
That seems awful.
Luckily for me, well, for all the shoes that did have laces, I just tied them together.
Yeah.
I at least tried to do that. But can you imagine whoever had to go through that big ass crate? It's like one of those watermelon crates.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know how they bring the watermelons? You got to dig up in there? Yeah. It isn't one of those. Imagine. Ooh.
That's what I said. It ain't no easier.
I guess
Way
not.
to organize this?
So I done did my first pass, because I got some, sponsorships and affiliations. I was like, damn, I got so many damn shoes. And I think I might just give away some more because I'm just going to reach out to to what's the name and be like, hey, I need some more gear. I'm about to move.
You need some more who?
Gear.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
So, that was it. Like I got a slow week going on, more or less for to talk about, because I just been pretty much heads down working on that, and then just doing work at home. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's happening in Pillow Talk.
Oh, we rolling.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since we've been rolling like this.
Hey, sometimes you ain't got shit to say.
I mean, I always got something to say, but well, open us on up. I think this is more Nearham's specialty. Coming to America Part 2. We done made it to the Zamunda. What adjective did I add in there?
I don't know what the hell you added.
Zamunda. Oh, I know Nearham made yarn in this phone. I mean, in this microphone.
I tried my best not to. It just came out of nowhere.
So go ahead.
Nowhere.
Lay us out. What you want to set the framework for the Coming to America? Like set a little bit of a framework, and then we can begin unpacking some of the stuff like you enjoy, you didn't enjoy, or your overall thoughts.
All right. Spoiler alert for everybody who ain't seen it.
Listen. First of all, it's not a spoiler alert. It's literally the first movie. So if you've seen the first movie, it's not a spoiler.
It still can be a spoiler alert for some people.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, we're back in Zamunda. Prince Akeem is about to be king.
What's his name?
Akeem.
It's not Hakeem?
No, it's Akeem.
Oh, I thought it was Hakeem. Maybe that's the running joke from when he was in America.
Prince Akeem, you can tell he about to be on the road to being the kingdom. He got his family and his kids and everything.
Beautiful
and then
kids.
His daddy is like, it's that time. I must die now. But before I die,
Child,
I'm going to have this funeral so I can
see it.
So I can see it.
When James Earl Jones rolled out in the casket like Dracula, and then called his son over and be like, I'm dying. I'm dead. Like, what happened? If y'all long time listeners, we all know Nero's mom had a similar situation like this when she was watching an older person. And so like, it's time for me to die now.
It's time for me to die now. I'm dead.
I'm dead. Good night. I was like, what? At first I was like, that's cruel. But then I was like, that's gangster.
So, so you got that going on. Meanwhile, they're like, since you've been to be king and you don't have any male heir, they're going to assassinate you and to take over the kingdom.
Who was they?
Wesley Snipes.
Blade.
From next Doria.
So you hear me, Blade.
But we got a solution for that. You got a bastard son.
What?
That we knew about, but we didn't tell you. Him. I ain't never had no sex with nobody.
Q Leslie, what's her name?
Leslie Jones.
Q Leslie Jones on the night of beautiful indica.
He said he was drugged. Ain't nobody cancel Leslie for that.
He inhaled that willingly. He wasn't drugged, honey. He knew what was happening. Kind of. He was willing to participate in that.
So from there, it's pretty much the stories of him going back to his son, or the movie of like going back to his son, bringing his son back to Zamunda, and getting him prepped to be prince.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there's other foolishness and fuckery going on.
I love that summary here. First of all, what are the things that you love from it? I love the fashions. That was it for me. Like, from the moment it came on the screen, I was like, oh, this is Black excellence. This is regal. This is gorgeous. I think it's the same woman who did Black Panther, did the fashions, because some of the stuff I was like, oh, I need them to come on out with a Zamunda line somewhere. So I then can mimic some of these things. Everything from the over-the-top evening wear to when Eddie Murphy was getting his ass whipped by his daughters in looks like a kimono. I don't know what it was, a shawl. I want all of the things. It was amazing. The fashion, sickening. I would argue even better than the first one. The first one, I think, was still a little parody to it. You know, like, they were sharp in the first one. They were suited and booted in the first one. But they had a whole ass lion head on them, right? Where it's just like, okay, right? Come on, slow down. But this one, it was just like, oh, they made the Americans look trash, right? Like, it was just like, even when they came and visited the son in America and just showing, like, what they were wearing compared to, like, what we was wearing, which is, like, H&M's best. It was... fashions, breathtaking. Yeah. What's something you enjoyed?
Well, fashions. Tracy Morgan.
Okay, what about?
I think he's the fucking star of the show. The way Tracy Morgan and his comedic timing on some of these shits, when his ass strangled the hell out of Arsenio Hall on that TV show.
Listen. I didn't even think that was a funny part. I thought the funniest part for Tracy's was like his unspoken. Like, he literally, I was texting with some friends. I'm like, Tracy Morgan is my uncle. Like, the unspokens or the moves or the looks. I thought the standout star was actually Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes' comedic timing kind of was hilarious. When Michael Black, at first I didn't think I could handle him and Michael Blackson in the same screen. So as he introduced him as the most well-endowed man in Africa. And then Wesley Snipes' crypt walk. Side steps.
I don't know what the hell that step was.
Glid it down. I almost hit the ground. Like, we forget, like, Wesley, traditionally when I think of Wesley Snipes, I think of more of drama, action, fantasy. I forget that he has really good comedic timing. Like, everything about Wesley Snipes had me cracking up on that screen. Even his hair. I said, what in the cornrow? What is that happening? You know what else cracked me up too?
What?
When Vanessa Bell Calloway hopped on that screen like a shelter dog. I said, oh my God. So it looked like, y'all know what it remind me of? You know them little poodles who be missing the teeth?
Yes.
And they be having them stains on their eyes. The white ones with the stains. And she up in there barking and jumping. I said, what the broke down poodle is this? I laughed out loud. And it was one of them laughs that I couldn't even, like, I ain't want to laugh at this woman of a particular age still. What the fuck is that?
Doing all that damn barking.
Shut up on that working. Even Wesley Snipes again was like, you don't release the spirit of the dog from my daughter. I mean, from my sister. I was dying. Or who was it? Rafiki? Who's the old elder shaman? And he came, first of all, the elder shaman, I was talking to my friend, every time he came on that screen, he terrified me. I said, what the fuck is him? Because he always coming out the back corner and he got every piece of jewelry on in his house. Every gift someone gave him. But I hit the ground with Wesley Snipes. I was like, who auntie is this? Like, that's what I was talking about. Like, just the back-to-back hits with, like, the snarky stuff. Also, it feels like one of those movies where you need to watch again. Because I feel like the first time I watched it, I was just on edge. Because consciously or subconsciously, I'm always ready to compare it to the first one. So I think I needed to watch it twice just to release the anxieties or the comparisons. Because wanted to or not, we always gonna try to compare. And I think it takes more than one viewing to be like, oh, okay, I can release this. Like, this is what we needed at this time. Thank you. What's other stuff that stood out to you that you really liked, Nirams? Oh, did you like it? We're going to get to that part, but I enjoyed it. Long story short, I enjoyed it.
Rick Ross's house is nice.
Just like we're counting Jay-Z money, we're counting whose?
Rick Ross's.
There's a lot of lemon pepper wings in there.
Rick Ross's 250 acre estate. Yes. Looks very nice.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. That's all I got.
Are you kidding me? Well, I also enjoy, I stand for James Earl Jones. I stand for John Amos, who also in there as an OG. You know something else that cracked me up? That McDowell's. Oh. Like the little nods where I was like, oh, damn, I forgot about that. Can we also talk about how good everybody looked? Like, I know I teased Vanessa Bell Calloway. She don't look old. It was just the character, like the way they set the character up. But everyone in there, including Eddie, including Wesley, everyone, when I tell you they are aging so well.
They are.
The queen, she aging good. Like, everybody. That's what
money can do you.
Is that the money? It's just the mist.
It's the mist.
Because they refined. Right? They ain't no 20-year-olds. They refined up in there. And everyone was looking good. And they was looking good in this 4K. Because, 4K will tell the secrets.
Yeah.
I don't watch some movies and had some people looking like death. And you can see the matted coffin-ready makeup on them. The matte 46, I don't know.
Not the matte 46.
But this, you couldn't see nothing. Everyone looked happy. You also know where I'd be when you be like, oh, it looks like everyone enjoyed themselves. Like, you could tell they was cracking up in the cast. I enjoyed the daughters. I like the youngest one too. She didn't have enough lines, but she had another one. If you just looked at her in the background or her facial expressions, it was hilarious.
I think that middle daughter is Eddie Murphy's daughter.
Oh, that's Eddie Murphy's daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Eddie Murphy got a lot of kids. So I was gonna say he got enough kids to line them all up in there, honey. And he got enough money so he can have as much kids as he want. He can take care of all of them. Oh, that's really, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Bella Murphy.
Bella Murphy.
Oh, good for her. But it was good for me. Before we get into like our overall thoughts, what's some areas of improvement, Nero? You got any?
Why do all the people talk like these?
I was trying to tell Nero, you don't think that's the parody of it?
And it was only the men who only talk like these.
Yeah, the women accents weren't this bad.
The women didn't have an accent.
Or they did. It was just subtle. Like, it was like, yeah, I could tell you maybe you're not American, but it's not so heavy that you're like, are you all right? Like, when some of the men get to talking, I was like, are they all right?
When Rick Ross started to talk like these, I was like, what the fuck?
But, so do you not think that's the parody of it?
I don't know. Is Coming to America really a parody?
I think it is. Coming to America is not a parody. What would you define it as?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I would consider it kind of a parody.
It definitely is a comedy, but is it a parody?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's a parody on like how black people view like folks from Africa and vice versa.
I think
it's exaggerated. You don't think it's exaggerated?
I think you might be going a little bit deeper.
I'm going too Hotepi?
You might.
In not a negative way. Like, I'm not saying we supposed to have these like deep realizations, but I think it's a way for us to kind of like not laugh at each other, but we more alike than we are different. And don't get me wrong, there are differences, but just like we got Uncle Tracy Morgan, you also got Uncle Arsenio Hall back here who be doing the same shit. Like, that's how I interpreted it as. What would you determine? Why wouldn't you say it's like a parody?
I think it's up. I just think it's up for interpretation.
Oh.
And I didn't think, if they said it was a parody, they usually say it's a parody.
Oh.
It's a part of it.
Okay.
But since they didn't, I think a lot of people just took it at face value, like, oh, it's a comedy.
Oh.
Not necessarily a parody.
Gotcha.
So when all of the black men just talk like these, I was wondering why they didn't get no Black Panther training.
Also, the dialect in Africa is vast.
It is.
Like, why? People who, first of all, Africa's a continent. So that'd be like people thinking everyone in America speaks the same.
I understand that.
But what I'm saying, in every movie where there's black people in Africa, they have
They only talk like these.
That accent. You're right. There is not a lot of diversity in there. One area of critique I have.
What is that?
Folks might not agree with is I thought it was one too many cameos.
Yeah.
The cameos got a little distracted. And not cameos meaning people who was previously in Coming to America. I love those. Mm-hmm. Like, so if they were in the first one, like I think they did the twins flashback. Mm-hmm. I love that. But I'm talking about just everybody else. Like, it was just a lot
some of these
people
didn't need to be in there. Like, why was Rotimi in there?
I'm assuming he auditioned.
Why was Rotimi in there?
Rotimi wasn't a cameo. You hate
Rotimi was a cameo.
Rotimi was not. He was not playing himself.
That nigga had 2 lines.
Are you saying that was him?
Yes.
Rotimi as Rotimi.
Rotimi as Rotimi.
He don't. I don't think he act like that, honey.
Gladys Knight is Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight. Yeah. Why did she do the Midnight Train to Zamunda?
Rick Ross is himself.
Rick Ross was not. Near was a hater.
And I know Rick Ross was I know they was at his home.
Rick, if anyone deserved a cameo, was Rick Ross.
Rick Ross didn't have a name. Look, I'm looking at the cast. It just say Rick Ross. And then what it say?
That's Google though. Don't do that.
Do Google ever lie to us?
Even Michael Black, like his line was cute, but like, some of the characters just be so distracting. Even like a Lunel. And not that I didn't want her in it, but it's like you look at these people like, oh my goodness, what they gonna say, right? Like Lunel is a comedic genius,
and
so
she only
what
had 2 lines.
Is she going to say? Or Morgan Freeman?
Why was he in there?
Trevor Noah?
Why was he there?
Rodney Perry was in there. The Fancy was in there. I think Fancy was in the first one though, so that made sense. Mm-hmm. It was somebody else in there. I was like, how did they get Dikembe Mutombo?
Yeah, like why was it? No. I
was like, what?
No.
So it was some of that I ain't gonna lie, it distracted me a teensy bit.
Like some of these people, it's like, why?
If they should have did like John Legend did and waited to the end and did his little song from his house. Mm-hmm. I appreciated that. But some of the cameos was a little distracting to me. Like, I just didn't need them. And on the flip side of that, I appreciated the guy who played his son. What is his name? Let's give him some props. Is it Jermaine Fowler?
Yeah.
I don't want. How much stuff has he had? Let me, before I tell this man how much stuff he done acted in. He's a lesser known actor. Like, I almost appreciated that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So, because I didn't have like my own preconceived notions. Even with Tiana Taylor, I got a little distracted too, because she's gorgeous and she's also a great actress and a good singer. And to see her being like just a dance move and don't say nothing, it's like you're like, oh, but what else she gonna?
Whatever you like.
Whatever you like. And I was like, but no, what else she gonna say? Like, I was almost anticipating more. And it was just a little distracting for me.
The people who had the most roles was Tracy Morgan.
And rightfully so.
Eddie Murphy. Art Hesidio.
How did Leslie Jones grow? She grew on me. Y'all know sometimes Leslie be getting on my nerves, but she really grew on me in this one. What'd you think about her in this one?
She was all right.
She grew up. She be doing a lot. But Leslie slowly but surely growing on me. I thought it was a good cast for that. Because at first I was like, I didn't want them to go into like black woman trope. Like, is she pretty? Like, I didn't want to do that whole trope. And they didn't. And I appreciated it. And also, they dressed her appropriately. Because a lot of times they put shit on Leslie. And I'm like, first of all, Leslie is so statuesque. She has amazing cheekbone. Like, why ain't y'all, like, they never play into her, like, natural beauty's not the word, but she has these features that are sickening that people literally pay money for.
Yeah.
And they never highlight them.
They don't.
Right? Like her facial structure is sickening, right? She has leads from her top of her throat to the bottom, and they always put her in long shit, having her looking Humpty and Dumpty. But this one, they did not do that. And I think I appreciate it for it.
What else I like? I just like all the multiple roles Eddie Murphy and Arcee Hall played.
Can we put respect on their names? Did they originate that?
I don't know.
Did they or make it more mainstream? I should say. I'm sure they're
maybe
not the
in
first
the black
ones to do
community
it.
because like
Did they make that mainstream for us? Because that's legendary.
Eddie Murphy had multiple movies
With multiple.
with just himself. So much so.
Come on.
You know, Eddie
Come
Murphy.
on, genius.
Eddie Murphy did that for Medea Run.
Please, I was gonna say Big Mama House with Martin Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
All them things because he was remember the Nutty Professor and all that type of stuff. And like I always knew that was it, but I was just like, oh, this take a lot.
Yeah, it does.
To be able to go back and forth, read a room, and do it well, and have me invested enough. Okay, Eddie, Arsenio, y'all getting your flowers. Wesley, respect. You go ahead and get into all the things. All the things. Also, I just appreciated this as just a black woman. I just appreciated all the black women who was in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, all the black women were gorgeous. They came in all colors, shapes, sizes, energies. They did a really good job at that. Like there was not every black woman who came on that screen, I either seen myself or a good friend in them. And that often does not happen. And it was just very nice to see that. And like the women were never like pitted against it. Like it's none of those tropes, right? Like none of that was played into it at all. And I so appreciated it. And I know it sounds minor and it wasn't like a major thing. And even in the original one, like women weren't a big thing, but it was just refreshing to be like, remember I talked about that a few days ago where I really like Judas and the Black Messiah because all the black women look like real black women and not like Instagram stories.
Yeah.
I think this is another example of all the black women like who look like black women who are absolutely stunning. And it's just like, yes.
Yeah.
What is their skincare routine? Yes. What is the outfit they're wearing?
Right.
Yes. How are they carrying themselves? Like that, it was like, oh my God, they're absolutely sickening. And and I'm older too. Well, I'm a young millennial, but
you are old ass millennial.
I actually have an example. I was just talking to Sir Jeffrey this weekend and we were chatting back and forth using the microphones or whatever we call it. Whatever we call it.
Using the microphones.
Isn't that the button you hit? What do you call it? What would you call it?
Voice notes.
Wouldn't have got that. Using the voice notes. But just as a black woman, I had this, and it's from the babies, because who was the youngest one? I'm assuming she was 10? All the way up to the elders. Were like beautiful. And it just made my heart smile. And of course, the men, y'all look good too, but I don't think y'all had the same stuff we going. Y'all can show up kind of all shapes and sizes and all that type of stuff and don't necessarily have these norms put on you. But it was so nice to see all the women. Like Lunel was gorgeous. Everyone was gorgeous. And even Queen Shire, everyone.
I thought Louis Anderson was dead.
Oh my God. He was in the first one.
Oh,
that's why I didn't consider him a cameo because he was in the...
But I thought he was gone. I thought he was with the ancestors.
Louis, you thought he was with the ancestors?
Yes.
It's another bigger white man who went to the ancestors that I think who it is. It was another fatter, thicker. Be quiet. let me parse my words because I'm a fan of Louis Anderson. I know exactly who you're talking to, but it's a white guy like him, but he got black hair. They were like kind of in that same bag.
Yeah.
Where they got like the voice and they kind of was self-deprecating, but they was a little woke. I know what you're talking about. But honestly, when I seen him too, I thought he had one to the ancestors. But he he looked decent. Especially for colonized. Sometimes the colonized don't be age like milk. But I could recognize him.
Especially for this to be 30 years later.
Right? I could absolutely, I want to say he was playing the same role he played then. Because wasn't he the manager at McDowell's?
Yes.
Because wasn't he the manager of McDonald's? Then didn't they bring him to Zamunda to open that one up?
Yes, to open up McDowell's.
So I didn't consider that cameo because he was in the first one. But overall, I guess we're getting to our point. I enjoyed it. I think if you niggas say you didn't like this one, that means you ain't like the first one. Because it's the same.
It's the same movie.
Now, some of the jokes don't hit the same because honestly, I think the first one got to press the envelope a little more, just because of the state that we're in and the heightened awareness that we have. That there are clearly some jokes we could have pushed, and you can see that they held back a little bit. But for the most part, like, I'm with it. I think it's a rewatch in the background, not intently, but it feels like a holiday movie where you watch all the Coming Americas back to back, and like the whole family gets sniggle and giggle. I do think it's some one-liners up in there. I think it was fine. Now, was it you know what it feels? It's a cult classic. I think it's a cult classic.
I wouldn't call it all that.
I say a cult classic instead of a traditional classic. The Color Purple is a traditional.
I wouldn't
black
call
classic.
it neither one of them.
Oh, nigga, bye. What do you call Color Purple?
No, not Color Purple. I'm talking about
Coming
to America.
Coming to America is a cult classic. Don't do that. Number one, Coming to America?
Maybe.
Coming to America is a cult classic. And I think you can put Coming to America 2 also as a cult classic.
No, I think you're going a little bit too far right now.
No.
You cannot call Coming to America 2 a cult classic.
I bet niggas will be quoting this in about a year. I bet you. Who auntie is this? I bet they will. Okay. Mark my words.
I don't think it's a cult classic. Is it the worst movie in the world? No. Is it the best movie in the world? No.
You're a hard critic. Okay, what else? What else is your feedback?
No, like, I love, seeing this. I think for right now, with what is the date on this? March what?
He gonna want to backslide, y'all, because somebody gonna get this and they gonna present it to him. He gonna backslide. Just be clear where Nyambi stood.
On March 7th.
You gonna want to backslide. Oh my goodness.
The year our Lord, 2021. It's not a cult classic.
Make him eat his words, y'all.
It's not a cult classic.
Make him eat them.
I think it's a good bop when all the other movies and TV shows are showing black men and black women getting killed or showing COVID. The fact that I can look at this movie and it's not be COVID related, just like all the other TV shows have like redone to make it COVID related, and I can suspend the reality. That's what I liked about it. Now, is it better than the first one? No. Is it better than any other sequel? No. Is it the worst movie in the ever? No. I would say it's about the middle of range. It's not a cult classic for me, but it's about the middle of range, and it probably will be in the background for like a holiday or something like that. If we like cooking some greens or whatever, picking pig feet or whatever black people do, cleaning
whatever the blacks do,
cleaning chitlins or something like that. It'll be in the background, eating on a hog maul or something like that.
Oh my goodness, why are you going here? Who does that? We're vegan.
You ain't no damn vegan.
I'm thinking about going vegan, y'all. Every time I think about it, I forget.
So
it's a story.
Is it a nice little bop? Yes. Is it a rewatch for the holiday? Yes. Is it a cult classic? No.
I feel like I was talking with Nia. I feel like this, so to be Coming to America 1, Coming to America 2 with Jingle Jangle, that'd be on repeat, starting the day after Thanksgiving to the New Year. You don't think? You don't put it in that crew?
No. I doubt if I ever watch it again.
He lying because it will, because I'm watching it.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
I personally myself would not initiate to watch it again.
Ooh.
So if it's in the background.
What do you consider a great comedic movie? Maybe we just need to level calibrate.
Rush Hour.
Have you watched Rush Hour lately? You might want to watch it lately.
The original Friday.
Okay. Watch it, y'all. It was nice. And going back to a non-problematic point Nero made, it was nice to be able to disconnect.
Hold up. So all the other points I made was problematic? You ain't funny, nigga. You're not funny.
I didn't realize how much I needed to disconnect from what I was watching on TV and how much trauma it was causing. Because after watching Coming to America, I had in my heart mindset to watch Beloved. And I couldn't get through 10 minutes of Beloved.
Let me tell you about
before I was like, turn it off. Turn it off. I cannot watch Beloved right now.
Nyambi love a good trauma movie.
I was like, turn it off. I cannot watch Beloved right now. I cannot watch, what is it called? Sugar Baby. Whoever the ghost was, Sookie. I forgot what Oprah called the baby. And them flashbacks and the poltergeist in the house, I just could not do it. So
me and Nyambi got into a pseudo argument because she's like, I was like, well, what are we going to watch? And it's like, well, what's this? You see, I'm not going to tell you because every time I tell you what I'm watching, you judge me. And I was like, I said, this is motherfucking Beloved, isn't it? I'm not saying anything. I said, okay. See, there you go, judge me right now. I said, I ain't judging you. I'm not judging you. But you don't watch this traumatic ass movie after watching something this happy? I said, that's the type of movie we're going to be in tonight? Okay.
What do you think about Beloved? Nero?
And then 15 minutes later, here comes the damn ghost and shit and Oprah. And what was Mister's name? And,
his name not Mister. Danny Glover. It's not Color Purple Beloved crossover.
What was Mister's name?
I forgot.
Beloved.
It was just a lot. Oh my God.
And then hit his ass and the tables and shit and Oprah. His
Paul
name was
D.
Paul D.
Paul D.
When all that shit was going on, and then here goes Nyambi. Oh no, turn that off. I don't know if I can do this. I said, oh.
And then you got Kimberly Elise in there playing Denver. She up in there crying, honey.
I said, oh, okay.
It's Baby Suggs. That's who it is. You got Baby Suggs in there. You got Cethi. Oh my God. Then you got Beloved, who played by Thandie Newton. It was a lot.
And I was like, this is what you want to do?
I forgot Hill Harper was in there. It's a whole crew of folks in there. Wait, what was the part where I said I can't take no more?
When that table went up against Paul D. I said, oh, this is what we're doing.
I actually, it was a little before that where Oprah was telling the story of like when she got beat the first time. And she was like, they opened me so bad. The wounds on my back opened to the wounds of my soul. And then once they healed, it became a tree, and the tree grew out my back. And then he stood up and he opened the I said, oh
my God.
Damn. I was like, no, ma'am.
I said, this is what you wanted to watch after coming to America?
I said, not today, Mother Morse. Not today.
Pauletta Washington was in there? Go figure.
It was a lot of, because it was a lot of flashbacks. So it was a lot, like a lot of it took place in the house where, I almost said Mr. again, Paul D. Is that his name?
Yes.
Paul D. was visiting. But a lot of it was like a lot of like monologue and storytelling, because that's how it is in the book. It's almost like a journal reading. And so they're flashing back to when they were on the plantation before like slaves and stuff were free. So you have like all these other micro characters who come in. So it looks like it's a big cast, but it's really only like the kids, Oprah and Danny Glover and the Poltergeist.
I was like, this is what you want to watch after watching Come to America too. This is what you want to do.
Do you think I watch a lot of sad movies like that, or is it too?
You watch a lot of them. And Nia can agree. I can't never forget that Christmas movie. Naomi's like, we're going to go watch a Christmas movie. It was a girl with the dragon tattoo.
They just got sensitive. What was it, like the first 15 minutes? Didn't she sodomize somebody?
Yes. It was rape and sodomization all in the first 10 minutes. And I was like, this is a Christmas movie, Naomi? Shit.
Because they were like, how you read? I was like, oh, I read the book. He was like, oh, it was a book? I said, yeah, it was a great book. And I was like, what y'all thought it was going to be Harry Potter in this bitch?
I don't know. Shit.
I was going to say Dr. Seuss, but they don't put his ass away. Why y'all get mad about Dr. Seuss? They didn't cancel all of Dr. Seuss. They just canceled him when he was talking about niggas. Rightfully so. You can still have one fish, two fish, blue fish, red fish.
Yeah.
Just can't have the ones where they talking about niggas as gollywogs.
Yes.
Why is that hard? It's not a hard concept.
It's not.
As Nia say, eat chicken. Swallow the meat, spit out the bones. We spit out the bones and keep it moving. And low key, no one forced him to do. His publisher didn't force him to do it. His estate did it. After it was like allegedly brought to their attention, they had to know, but maybe they didn't. And they was like, "Oh, remove it from shelves. That's trash." And I was like, interesting, Dr. Seuss. Look, it's hard when a colonizer does take responsibility.
Right.
We don't know what to do when they take accountability.
No.
It was like, oh no, that's not the feelings of the state at all. Remove it, banned it.
Bye.
One fish, two fish.
Yeah.
They said they ain't using that contract with Disney.
Hell no, because Disney will cancel your ass in a minute.
Listen, Disney looking at them. Oh, so is this what we doing? So it ain't no more. What's the Christmas one they got? The Grinch.
Yeah.
Ain't never gonna hear the Grinch again. When Disney done erasing them. Well, Disney did the same for their stuff. Remember they had that racist ass Mickey Mouse shit? They done put that shit so deep in the vault.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can't find it on YouTube. You can't buy it. Ain't nowhere to be found. Disney swept the internet. And been said, racist who?
Right.
Not us.
See how they got rid of T.I. ass quickly.
Woo! Jesus.
Nigga said he won't be in the Marvel universe no more.
No, you don't live here.
Said,
you better get with the Scarlet Witch. Shout out to WandaVision.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna talk about how good WandaVision was. Didn't it end so well?
It did.
I stand for WandaVision and the Scarlet. Shout out to the Scarlet. I almost said the Scarlet Letter. Now I went to the, what's the movie I used to watch? Those 12 Hours. Also racist.
The other racist movie.
Yeah. Gone with the Wind.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love Gone with the Wind. It's so racist. I love it though. I love Gone with the Wind.
So racist.
Have you ever watched it with me? I feel like I have it on in the background and no one ever commits with me. Like my parents have, like people come and go. I remember one time my mom was like, I done been to the grocery store. I done been to visit your grandparents.
I done did all this and you still watching this foolish shit.
Everyone judged me. One time my mom was like, go in the basement and watch that. Don't watch this in the front room. Don't perpetrate this? Perpetrate this in my household. I loved Gone with the Wind. Scarlett O'Hara. When she snatched down them curtains. Oh my God.
You're so dramatic.
I was the land. Next topic. All right, let's do one more topic before we get into kitchen table talk.
Yeah.
So I found this thing when I was on The Root, I think it is. And y'all know this is Black Love Matters. And I know we've been talking a lot about of like relationships and family and all that good stuff. Neil and I was talking to be like, what are the other different types of love we haven't talked about? And something we got interested in was like the love of a pet or an animal and just dog or pet ownership in the Black community. And as soon as we were thinking about that, like we found an article in The Root that just unpacked it so beautifully. And I just wanted us to have a conversation with it as the Black Love Matters community and just the importance or the evolution of what it means to have a pet, and particularly like dogs in the community, because again, and this person speaks to it, I don't know if it's generationally or regionally, that sometimes when we think about dogs, it's, for me, is rooted sometimes in like the civil rights movement or social justice movements, because when you think about Black people and dogs, is usually they have like these German shepherds or these hound dogs who are after us. Or like if we have them, they're for this point of protection. So meaning we'll have like the pit bulls and the Rottweilers, and superficially, like we might not, and not that you should humanize dogs, right? But sometimes we leave out the love and affection that comes with the dog. And that's on the forefront. And I love how this article kind of unpacks it more holistically, where they speak to that, but then they lean into this point about the joys of having dogs and letting our guard down and just being free with them. So in loving unconditionally something that they're doing nothing for you, right? You're literally feeding them, picking up their poop, loving on them, playing ball, but it's this sense of joy and relief that you get from being able to be empathetic and vulnerable and soft and just open with them. And then the way that they even receive love. And I think even in this video clip, they talk about, one person was like, they were going through a depressive sprint, and because they had their dog, the dog was one of the only reasons they got up out of bed, because the dog got to eat.
Dog got to pee.
The dog got to pee. So the dog was like, yes, sis, I know you depressed and all, but I got to go pee-pee. So let's go pee-pee. And then he said one time they was like, okay, I know I've been just literally taking my dog downstairs to bring her back up. Let me take them to the park. And they was like, the person was like, I took my dog to the park, took him off leash, and they were so freaking happy with me. It's like they forgot about the last month and a half. I've only took him outside for 20 minutes at a time. Right. Or when you leave and come back, is this sense of joy. And I was like, wow, we don't talk about that a lot in the Black community. When we talk about dogs, you know, it's like, oh, go tie him on to the tree, and he ain't gonna kiss me in the mouth, and white people be having him in the bed. But I'll be looking at some of the niggas like, maybe you need to put the dog in your bed, because you don't got no softness to you. Do you know, like, you talking about putting Mabel in the bed, you don't let plenty of niggas up in the bed. Like, it's just too much. You don't let plenty of dogs up in there. So you might as well have one unconditional here. I'm teasing y'all. Don't put no dog in the bed if you don't want to. But you know what I mean? Like, figuratively. And I thought it was so many good. I thought it was just so many good things. I'm talking a lot. How about you play a little clip of it, Niram, and then we can kind of come back and talk about our experiences with dogs and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
ownership has gone up, I think, especially during the pandemic. I wonder if it's generational, and I wonder if it's geographical, because obviously, like, we're not a monolith. We have a stereotype about how pit bulls are. We have stereotypes about how German Shepherds are, and those stereotypes come from police dogs being sicked on us during civil rights era protests and this kind of thing. And so it just lives in us, this idea that these big dogs are trained to dislike us or trained to attack us instead of being, quote unquote, man's best friend.
And it's so beautiful. Like, they're showing pictures of like Black people and their dogs, from Obama to everyone.
The silliness, and a lack of embarrassment. Happy birthday. I feel like it's really therapeutic and also really endearing. We don't often have the luxury of letting down our guard, showing our emotions unfiltered. And so whenever I see a Black person who has a clear, intimate, and close friendship, companionship with their animal, I think of it as being this really sweet and subversive gesture. And I also think of it as being healing. When we show how much compassion and empathy we can have with this animal that is not related to the animal doing work. It doesn't have any function at all, except that you take care of it.
Now, Ginger, when we get to the park, don't touch nothing.
Talking to the dog.
Don't break nothing.
I thought I knew what joy looked like, and then I took this puppy out to a nearby park and let him off the leash. I can't even remember the last time I played like that. I don't know. I've just learned a lot from him about being in the moment. I think especially in this time that's so heavy and feels so endless, to remember to have moments for opening up and letting joy in. It's a really great lesson.
So I seen that and I thought it was just super beautiful, and especially us being dog owners, dog parents, there is a level of joy. And I get sometimes with family and friends, the way I talk with Mabel, you can see I'm like, what? It's a dog. What are you? But I was like, oh, like, you don't kind of get it. Like, it's different. Don't get me wrong, Mabel's not equivalent to a human at all. Mm-hmm. But there is a sense of companionship and connectedness that is deeper there. What do you think, Nirma? What has been your experience with dogs or pets? Like, I think cats can be the same thing. Whatever it is, I think it's gonna be just pets.
We don't include cats.
Okay. I'm not a cat person, but I don't want to hate. I'm assuming it's got to be similar. So, what is your experience with having pets in your household and the relationship?
As long as I've ever can remember, I always had a pet. Mm-hmm. So I had a pet growing up, and that was my best friend. Take him everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Where y'all used to be going?
We're on all the adventures.
You mean to the corner store?
Wherever.
What type of dog was it?
It was a German Shepherd and Pit Bull mix.
Was it better than Mabel?
No,
be careful.
We don't
be careful.
We don't pit dogs against each other.
That's the sign of the oppressor.
That is the sign of oppressor. So we don't pit dogs against each other.
Oh, okay.
Also, maybe we could never.
Be careful.
But as long as I remember, like, I had dogs all the way up until I graduated high school and went to college, and then I didn't have any more pets. Yeah. And then Dazzy.
Ooh, that was my first pet.
That was your first dog.
And he had to get up out of there. But I would say having Mabel has taught me a different level of like patience, and like kindness, and even care for myself. Mm-hmm. Like, I can see times where I'm working a lot, and she'll literally come from my laptop to be like, bitch, come on. Mm-hmm. That's enough. Let's wrap this shit up. It's time to go play ball. Or the fact, like, when I am not having some of my best days and I'm literally just on the couch, how she's able to adjust the energy and be like, oh, this will be on this couch? Okay, cool. What you think has been the biggest lesson you learned from Mabel or any dog? Because they do teach you lessons.
Yes. I would say consistency and rituals. Because, like, while we can, like, go up and use the bathroom all we want, like, we got to have some type of consistency and rituals when it comes to the dogs. Taking them out, having to walk them, feed them, things of that sort. That it adds some type of ritual that I don't necessarily think you'll have or will have if we didn't have a dog. Mm-hmm. So, because we do have a dog, like we have to be up and at them by a certain time.
Yes.
To get this damn dog out. So I think unconditional joy, love, no matter what, like you can be playing with it, it can get mad at you and they still love you.
Yes. I'm
all
mad. How long the mad last? 10 minutes.
If that.
And then how Mabel be? What's been the best moment y'all had together where you're like, what in the world is this dog?
I think a few times it's just like what that person was talking about, letting Mabel off leash or just playing fetch and like unleashing 5 balls at once and like Mabel not knowing what to do, but having so much joy of like, I'm going to get all of these balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all she need.
That's all she need.
I think my biggest lessons I learned from Mabel is literally stopping to smell the flowers. I get the most joy when I'm going on a walk with her and she'll find a flower and she'll literally put her whole face in it and like inhale it so deeply. And like, it almost like she inhale it and hold it. And then be like, oh my God, that was amazing. and I'm like, well, damn, dude. One time Mabel was smelling a rose so deep, I had to bend down to smell it. Or not bend down, but the tree. And I was like, maybe they peed on it. But you could tell she was like looking up. Like, and I was like, and I was like, I guess it does smell good. So the idea of really finding pleasures in the small things. And it's something, especially during this time with COVID, all the civil unrest, or even any stressful opportunity where honestly, dogs don't care about that. You know, even food, right? Like, we feed her or whatever, but she ain't picky even on that. Like, as long as we got somewhere warm to stay and she got some food and water, she don't care about any other stuff.
Right. So
it is something about that. So I don't know. I just seen that and it spoke to my heart. We'll get with our PGM. We'll get with Ian to maybe link that story if y'all want to like read deeper and like give a shout out to the article. But if anybody folks got dogs, why don't y'all send us stories in on like what your dog has taught you or your relationship with dogs and how it's evolved. You got anything else on that, Nero?
No, I think that's a good thing, right? Especially with the COVID and everything and pandemic, hell, you can barely even find a dog these days.
Yeah, well, out here, I'm sure you can find it. But again, as we're thinking about other types of love, I think it's important for us to lean in, be vulnerable, be soft, and say like you can have love for your pet, and having love for your pet can open yourself up, and that can make it could be a very fulfilling experience. We got some kitchen table talk. Brustis cuz.
We got some brustis cuz? All right. As always, to submit questions for kitchen table talk, shoot us an email, blacklovematters@gmail.com. Remember, that's black with no K.
All right. It says, Nirma Nyambi, I have a question for you. How long did you live with your parents and when did you know it was time for you to leave? I'm 26, no debt, and a stable job. I'm ready to be independent, but I feel bad about leaving them. What's your advice? H. Nirma?
Shit. After high school.
Okay, unpack you're gonna have to say more than that because I don't. It's a lot here, and actually, I think I ride the fence a little bit because I do think as a Black community, sometimes we push our children out too young. But then on the flip side, I think folks who stay home, there's a sweet spot, right? There's a sweet spot between staying home, stacking your money, making appropriate financial decisions, too. Also not being willing to leave the nest, stand on your own. Like, I think there is a very delicate line there.
So to answer that first question and the journey around that, how long did I live with my parents? I left right after high school. Yeah. And I went to a out-of-state school. And I did that for about a year and a half. And then I moved back and went to one of the state schools in Michigan. And I would say the first summer I came back home and stayed with them, or like winter break and things of that sort. But after that, like once I got my apartment up that school, I just stayed there. Like I got a job there during the summer. I used to take summer classes, find a little summer job, things of that sort. And it wasn't beneficial for me to come back home.
Why?
Because like losing out on that job.
Money, experience, classes.
Yeah. Like losing out on a job, the experience of like getting up on grades, like taking summer classes, because historically summer classes I feel is a little bit more easier because it's a condensed period of time.
Go in deep.
And you can go in real deep and be done in like 6 weeks versus like a whole semester. Work, like stacking up on dough. And then like I think the other thing is just the experiences of like being on the campus. Not during school. So like this is time I can kick it with friends. This is time like I can just be. That I had during the summertime. And I eventually did come home for a semester because I had to do a practicum, and my practicum was down in Detroit.
Yeah.
So I stayed there for that semester afterwards. Yeah.
I had a similar journey to Niram. I left. I went to undergrad in Michigan, but it was farther enough where I couldn't commute, and it was a great experience for me. I loved it. There was a couple summers I came home, but I'm with Niram. I think after maybe 2 summers for me, I actually stayed up by my college for either like summer research experiences or y'all know I was into like resident life and stuff like that, so I would do that to help build my experiences as I was preparing for graduate school. And then once I graduated, it was about a semester between when I graduated and started graduate school that I stayed at home too. And similar to what Niram says, I didn't take a lot of summer classes, but it was a time for me to get like experiences that I couldn't get during the school year. And also I did appreciate like the independence of it too, right? Like it was still close enough to home where I was still there, still reasonable, but able to navigate away. But take in consideration, that was almost 15 years ago for us.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would give that same advice to folks that are in that situation. Does that make sense, Niram? Like I do think it was just a different time and era, and I think everyone goes on their own journey. Now to answer this person, 26, no debt, and a stable job. All right. They said they're ready to be independent, but they feel bad about leaving them, aka their parents. So when I always tell folks to leave, I think first the debit thing's something we should be call out. Like that's the elephant in the room. Don't go leaving your parents' house, especially if like they're paying for everything or paying for a nice chunk of stuff. You're able to save a lot of money. Like that's not worth it. Like make sure and it don't got to be 0, I wouldn't say, but it needs to be manageable and it needs to be on a trajectory to be paid off relatively quickly, if that makes sense. Yeah. I hope I'm not talking too coded, but I do think as the Black community, we don't take advantage. We're so quickly to be like, I want to get up in my house, I can't stay in here. And I think it's some of our elders too. They big on like, this my house, my rules. If you don't like it, get your monkey ass out of here. And I think that is a situation where that is absolutely true. But sometimes we need our elders to be like, we love you. Why don't you go stack your money, get your mind right before you leave, so you don't gotta have no take backsies. Yeah. So you don't gotta come back. So again, I think it's just this thin line of it, because I would argue at 26, no debt, stable job. I would say, without knowing more information, I would say this is about time for you to begin launching. Only way I would say not launch is if you don't have any type of savings, but I'm assuming no if you have no debt, right? Like I would assume that you would get some type of savings under your belt. I will hope you have like some retirement accounts set. Like that's what I'll start to do. My gut is like, yeah, get the hell up out your parents' house. Only other thing I would say no about is, you just said it's you. Do you got a family? Is it just you? Do you got a baby? Do you got somebody else? Like,
right, you got a partner.
Right. I need to know more information. I think that would change it slightly because you got more folks dependent on you. But I think if you're at that age, you're able to still go out, find an apartment. Like I said, you have no debt, save if it's a dream of yours to own your own home or to go towards your business. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, because I think you can live both worlds. What's actually, besides all of you're ready to be independent, but you feel bad about leaving? That's the triggering part to me. What are you feeling bad about at 26? Right. So is there an illness with your parents? Like, are they depending?
Like, are they dependent on you? Are you paying their bills?
Yeah. Are they depending on you financially or physically? Like, is something like that going on? Because I think if it is, you do have to, not that you can't leave.
But I would say you have to put the proper
things in order. Yeah, I think you have to be an adult and put things in order. But if this is not the place, am I reading it the other way where maybe you the only child, maybe you the oldest of the crew or something, and you've been seen as like this stable point in the family? There is a point in adulthood that people don't tell you about, and you have to stand up to your parents. This might be unpopular. All the Gen Xers who listen, go ahead and turn off now. But there has to be a point where you be like, Mom, Dad, Auntie, Guardian, thank you so much for your support on the things you do. It's time for me to go. I know your advice. The advice you gave me was to go right, but I think I'm gonna go left. But I love you. Yeah. Bye. Like there is absolutely, that might not be the exact conversation, but I hate to say all, but I haven't encountered a friend, myself, Niram, who has not come to this fork in the road with the parents
and being like, yo,
where you're like, I know that's what you want me to do, but
I pay the cost to be the boss here.
And I'm doing this.
And you told me all these years
to work.
As long as I ain't paying the cost to be the boss, in your house, your rules, but guess what? I'm paying the cost to be the boss now.
Yes. And this is just for you moving out. This could be like if you want to go open a business or like if you want to get, like, you know what I'm saying? It can be different fork in the roles, but it is something very unspoken that people do not prepare you for, is to have to tell your parents no.
Yeah.
But no with compassion, love, and respect. It is a very unique place to be in your relationship with them, because they're always going to see you as a child, but one time they're going to blink and be like, oh, they grown.
They grown.
Oh, not that they... Because the other thing to talk about, your roles slightly begin to reverse, right? And parents, again, Gen Xers, everyone above, don't listen. They then become the kids. They become then the limit testers. They'll be like, well, I'm about to see, I'm their mama.
Right.
So I'm going to talk to them crazy.
Like,
and I'm going, and that's your job to put up the boundaries to be like,
oh, you're not going to talk to me crazy.
Pump your brakes.
You don't even talk to me crazy at work.
Like, in love or respect. Like, we're not saying doing any of this disrespectfully. But that's what it almost feels like you're at this point in your life.
Yeah.
Because I also would ask, what they gonna do? Like, what they gonna do if you move out? Like, what they gonna be like, you never come up? And I'm assuming the answer is no, because they're gonna feel bad. They're gonna banish you from Christmas dinner.
What, they gonna whoop you?
Like,
you gonna get ass whooping? But I do think at that age, one of the things that they probably are playing around with, and I don't know, I'm just trying to
be devil's advocate.
Yeah, guess is respectability politics.
Oh yeah, that comes out.
You know, especially in black families, and you're on that age where it's like, I ain't trying to hear none of this shit. And like, you know, you're 26, so you're closer to 30 than you are to 20.
Yes.
So, you know, it becomes that respectability politics, and it's like, oh, I gotta get the hell up out of here, because y'all beliefs is something I really don't fuck with.
That I'm not in line with, right? And if we had more space, we wouldn't have to bump heads.
Right.
We wouldn't have to unnecessarily bump heads about what we're watching on TV, or about what's for dinner, or what John Lemon said on the CNN, because we're not up under each other every 20 minutes. So that's what it feels a little bit like. And advice, what do we have from it? You got to lean into that. First, do your due diligence. Like, honestly, I don't think you're asking about, should you move out? You made it this far, stable job, no rent. You know how to look for an apartment. You know how to save. You know how to apply to, like, that stuff. But it sounds like you're ready to have a deeper conversation with your parents and talk about this guilt and unpack that. Like, that's what I would recommend. Start having some of those conversations to prepare them. And love and kindness. Like, Mom, Dad, I'm just so grateful for everything that y'all have done, and you've guided me and you raised me, and I'm such a good space. I don't have any debt. I got a stable job. Like Miriam said, I'm closer to 30 than I am 20. I think it's really time for me to go out and be on my own. It don't ask the question.
No.
Tell them.
Yeah, tell them.
And then end it with thank you.
We out of here. Weezy out.
And most parents gonna be like, oh shit.
Okay.
I mean, they might try to talk back, but it's hard to do a lot of talk back when you done gave them all these praise.
Right.
And said, you do the sentence with a period, not a question mark. And let them go. And then to the parents, Gen X, I know y'all sneaking and listening. Sometimes let people fly. Like, let people go out, stretch their wings, and be in the world. But like I said earlier, there is fence talk. Like, I think as folks of color, it's important for us to remember how much having a collective household has helped us.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
so,
what about that be into
yes. So I don't want folks to mistake to say, oh my goodness, you can't be living with your parents, blah, blah, blah. But I do think sometimes it comes to a run out where if you continue to stay in your parents' household, it's going to be an emotional drain on a relationship. And that's when it's a problem. Yeah. And I think that's when I would be willing to pay money so we can maintain the relationship.
Yeah.
But don't mistake this conversation for saying that it's whack to stay in your parents' house. I think it's great to stay in your parents' house. Just have a rhyme or reason for why you're doing that.
Facts.
So I just didn't want people to confuse that.
Yeah, and if you're alone and you like, well, I'm trying to get a mansion, and you single,
stay in your parents' house and stack all your money and go pay cash for your house.
Right. Or travel the world. What the fuck you want to do?
Do that. Yeah. But just have forethought and intention on why you're leaving or why you're staying. I think some people just blindly stay or people blindly leave.
Yeah, you got to have some intention with it. And I think that's one of the things, like even us in our situation, right?
Yeah.
Like going back to Detroit and staying with your parents for a while.
Yeah.
It was a very intentional thing to be like, hey, we trying to stack some dough. Like we want to get a house. Silicon Valley is expensive as fuck. Yes. The only way to do this is to do X, Y, and Z.
It's like dramatically cut.
Right.
The overhead for a few months. So like that's what it is. But I don't know. They seem a little stable. It sounds like it sounds like every time they bring up they're gonna move out, Mama Duke fall out on the ground. Like that's what it sounds like.
Lord.
Yeah, I think we might be doing too much. It sounds like every
baby gonna leave me.
Guess you don't love me.
My baby gonna
I'm
leave
just gonna
me.
sit here and die. What? Well, okay. Well, that's between you and your makeup mom. And like sometimes you gotta call on a bluff. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like if you know you got the Mama Dukes who you bring up moving out and you done accomplish all the goals you done help for her and she fall out on the ground. Sometimes you gotta be like, well, all right, I got you. What's that button they got for old people?
Yeah.
Help me out falling.
Life alert.
I got you this life alert. So if you
My baby leaving me.
Meanwhile, I'm sure this person only moving 20 minutes away. That'd be the T. It like that's what I think. That's more of a conversation. But no, like yes, have foresight, intention. Look at your finances. Is it appropriate means to move? Are you running for something towards something? Like all those come into play. But sis, bro, cause I think Mama Duke or Pop Dukes is threatened to fall out, and you can't take it on your heart. Cause what if they fall out for real?
If they cry, it's okay to cry. They probably will.
They will, and still pack your shit up.
Yeah, still pack your shit up. It's okay. Telling you still be over for Sunday dinner.
You still
sometimes
create a routine, right? Like create a routine and ritual, like Nero says.
Yeah,
and it'll be great.
Because
like low key, they'll probably enjoy the space back anyway. They don't even know it yet.
Yeah, definitely create a routine and ritual with them.
Yeah,
because that's
what they miss. I would assume too. Because also, again, Gen Xers and older, y'all come on back. They dedicated their lives, right? 26 plus years. And now you saying fuck it?
Right. Now you out. Now
you wheezy out when you finally becoming someone I like. They wanted you to be wheezy out at 13. But now you finally become a person, a human I like and want to hang out with. Now you leaving me?
Right. Now you can have a beer with them or a drink with
now
them
you
at
can
the barbecue.
Kiki. Now we friends. Because not all the black mamas are reversing. We ain't none of your little friends.
Right.
Now they want to be our little friends.
Right. You done told me all these years I ain't one of your little friends.
Now you want to be my friend.
Now you want to be one of my little friends because you ain't got no friends. Don't get mad at me because I got friends you don't.
So I think a little of that's at play. And it's okay to leave it. It's a good problem to have. It means that y'all love each other deeply, but it's time to grow and evolve on your own. And you can say that to your parents in a very kind and loving way.
Yeah.
Okay. What's out there?
All right. To submit your Black Love story, go to blacklovematters.com. To submit a question for Kitchen Table Talk, shoot us the email at blacklovematters@gmail.com. That's black with no K. And to leave a comment about anything we talked about, head on over to that website. We got that SoundCloud. And we got that voicemail at 508-784-1111. Once again, that's 508-784-1111. Talk to y'all later. Remember, love is ever evolving. Peace.